PVC. This is Luke with Hot Wax and Cool Vinyl. Welcome back. Unless this is the first time you're viewing my channel, then simply welcome. So today is Sunday, the 17th of October, 2021. Back to doing videos on Sunday. See, John, I promised, I kept my word. My closest friend in practically the entire world, not practically, my closest friend in the world was teasing me last night that the videos I'd been posting were on Monday, not Sunday, and I was throwing his schedule off. So, there you go, bud. This one's for you. Back to Sunday nights. All right, so great stuff to show this week. I'm going to start with the coolest piece I bought last weekend, and I kind of forgot to show it last weekend. I made a mental note to make sure to show it this weekend, and that is this poster. It's an original 1972 poster of the Stones movie. It is the world-famous traveling movie, Rolling Stones, 1972. This is a absolutely stunning poster. And I'm going to show it piece by piece so you can actually see all of it. So this was from 1972. And this particular one is from the Ziegfeld Theater in the city. And this was the main sponsor of this particular ones were WNEW, which is a rock station here in the city. And this was really absolutely insane. If you look about it, the tickets were on sale, Ticketron, and this is, and it was, they had a midnight show, which was cool. Which was on April 26th and 27th. But I mean, this is like awesome. I have not seen, up until now, I had only seen one copy of this, and that was on eBay for a show they did in Houston. And it was a British guy selling it. And as I'm walking through the flea market last week, I saw this gentleman. It was like, he had a bunch of stuff and it was kind of all over the place. But leaning up against this car, he had the framed poster of this thing. And you can imagine what the price was on the framed poster. So, I was like, is that real? Is it legitimate? And he and I kind of struck up a conversation. And I guess he was just kind of gauging whether I was actually interested in buying it or not. But as we got deeper into the conversation, it's like, this is what happened. One of the executives for WNEW in the movie theater had a bunch of these, and when he passed away, I did the house clean out. So I got like 5 of them. And I was like, well, that's, God, dude, that was awesome. That was a great strike for you. And I asked him just on a lark, I said, do you happen to have any that aren't framed and matted and stuff like that? And he was like, yeah, I brought 2 others. And he went into his car and he pulled this out. And I looked at it and I said, look, do you mind if I just kind of just see if there's anything out there? I mean, not that I doubt you, but I want to verify that this is legit and not, something that you did in your basement. And so I checked it out, and it all checked out, everything on it, the yellowing of the paper, the weight of the paper, everything. And so we kind of negotiated around and finally came up with a price point. And so I grabbed it, and I was like, it is like so cool. And I like it so much. And I bought a frame for it at one of the yard sales this weekend. And so if it fits the way I think it will, I'll show you the completed project next week when I do a video for next week. But I thought this was the coolest piece that I was able to get all of last weekend. It's just so rare, so hard. It's almost impossible to find. I've only seen one of these, and there's only one even for sale on eBay and none that ever sold. So I was like super stoked, and you can tell I still am, about being able to get my hands on this. So that was right on point. Next up, Frigid Pink. This was also from last week. Cover on this is, it's got moderate wear, it's got some writing on it, and it's got some spine flake. But here's the thing about Frigid Pink. I mean, I'm like everybody else probably. I had a copy of this, and I sold it or gave it away when I went from records to CDs, late 80s, early 90s, that sort of thing, and I had no idea it was going to be so hard to find another copy of this, at least in playable, decent condition. I mean, every copy I find so far is either unplayable, or just so damn expensive it may as well be unplayable. This was pretty decent. Again, the cover's got moderate wear, but I mean, it's got moderate wear, but it's intact. So that's the first thing I look for, and it's got some decent clarity, and it's got some nice color. Contrast is good. And he was very, very reasonable in price point. So I had to jump on it, and I did. Happily I did. Now, as far as the sound quality of this, noise on this is a little bit less than moderate, so it's palatable. Really not something I can listen to in my headphones because the noise would drive me insane. But just putting it on the speaker like we're listening to now, it's fine. Speaking of what we're listening to now, Grape Jam by Moby Grape. Same yard sale that I bought the other Moby Grape from with the poster. This is the same one. This is an upgrade copy to what I had. I showed my one I bought earlier this season a couple of weeks ago, or more now. It's probably a couple of months ago. Guys, I'm old. I forget everything. That had a lot of scuffing and some tearing and some peeling up here. This, on the other hand, is a much, much, much better copy. And it plays really strong as well. So that one I picked up 2 weeks ago. Last weekend, I am a huge fan of cowboy movies, old cowboy movies. Spaghetti westerns are my all-time favorite. My all-time favorite cowboy, my all-time favorite movie is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I think it's just an awesome, awesome, awesome cowboy movie. Western, I shouldn't say cowboy movie. It's my favorite Western. But a very close second, ever since I was a small child, is The Magnificent Seven. The Magnificent Seven was taken from the Seven Samurai and turned into a Western. And it's got a tremendous cast. I mean, it's got Yul Brynner, it's got Steve McQueen, it's got Charles Bronson, and I'm forgetting 15 other guys. But I mean, seriously, it's got everybody. All the tough guys of the 60s are in this movie. I mean, all of them. And this one is, I bought this to frame. As you can see, the cover is actually really nice. It's right on point. I like it very much. It's clear, it's nice. It's one of those that you can frame without really too much fuss or muss. But I just wanted to hear it, so I played it this morning. And actually, this sounds really good. So yeah, I am definitely going to frame it. But I had forgotten the soundtrack. It's not one of those things that the soundtrack isn't really something you pay attention to on The Magnificent Seven, other than the title song. But I listened to the whole soundtrack. I was like, this is really great. So yeah, I'm going to frame this one, and then I'm going to just go find another one that I can put in my play rotation, because I just really, really like the soundtrack on this as well. And if you happen to get a chance, and these are really pretty accessible, and they're not very expensive, but just grab it. And you won't be sorry. And if you're sorry, I won't know, because unless you tell me, so don't tell me. But no, grab this copy. You'll love it. And in conclusion, another Elvis. This was again from last week. This is Elvis's Blue Hawaii. Again, no pictures inside. Like last week, I've never run across an Elvis with the actual photos in it. But, it's, again, an Elvis soundtrack of a movie. And as cheesy as these movies are, and they were, when I was young, dude, Elvis is like one of the coolest dudes ever. So when I was a kid, Elvis was awesome, man. You just look at him. He's handsome. You got to hang out with Aunt Margaret. I mean, he's a pretty cool guy. So I loved Elvis as a kid. And, it just kind of fell out of favor as I got older. But I go back and I'm like, and grab one of the soundtracks like, last week and this one. And then, there's others as well. And I'm like, man, that's not bad. I mean, he was just, I like Elvis, it's great. It's not complicated, but it's pretty, he's Elvis. I mean, there really isn't a whole lot more to say. Last thing I wanted to show is a 45. This is Nazareth, Gone Dead Train. This is a UK import 45, and I picked this up a while ago. The latter was part of that 50,000 45s that my buddy my buddy gave me. Him and his partner bought out a record store out here on the island, and he called me up and he's like, guy, I mean, you want some 45s? And I was like, yeah, sure. So like 50,000 45s. It filled up the entire back of my pickup. I mean, I got a 6-foot bed. That was full. 6 feet long, 2 feet high, because I don't have a cap on it, or else it would have gone higher. But a 6-foot bed by 2.5, 3 foot on the cabs on the height side, full. Boom. That was it. So part of that was this particular 45. I'm still going through them. And this had the picture sleeve. And again, I like Nazareth. I think they're just such a great, straightforward rock band. I do think they get a little bit forgotten amongst all the rock bands of the era. But to me, hard driving, in your face rock and roll, Nazareth is right up there with just about everybody else. Obviously they're not at the level of the Zeppelins, etc. But at the same token, they're certainly with that one step below everybody else. I mean, they're just like, they're right on point with every other band who's not Led Zeppelin, who isn't the who isn't, those stratospheric megastars. And so I like Nazareth. I don't listen to them as much because I don't listen to as much classic rock as I used to, only because I've been on this, for the past 3 years, I've really been on more of a jazz kick as I started getting into jazz more and more. So I play a lot more jazz than I do classic rock, but I certainly dig listening to Nazareth and all sorts of other classic rock bands. So that's it for this week. Johnny, I hope you're watching this on a Sunday. If you like my channel, please subscribe. And like last week, if you don't like my channel, subscribe anyway. I mean, seriously, it doesn't, you don't have to actually watch anything. Just, leave me a comment. The comments are fantastic. I love the interplay between fellow members of the vinyl community, members of YouTube, record collectors, people who like music, people who don't like music, There's people who are like, hey, you really aren't very good. Really? Honest? I'm not really that good? Maybe it's because I'm not an actor. Nonetheless, have a great week, everybody. I'll speak to you soon. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Cheers.